to you about a very important law, which is called the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. This law passed a very long time ago. It went into effect actually back in the year 2000, and it's related to how much data collection can happen, online collection of personal information of children. So the law went into effect again back when like websites were becoming a thing. And the goal was to actually protect their data, protect their privacy. This is back when we had people actually caring about online privacy before we wanted like tech fascism or whatever. So COPPA has always been this like law that is important law for sort of protecting the privacy of children's data online. Now, the FTC is literally declining to enforce this privacy law about data collection in order to let people collect more data on children. This is crazy. So, The Verge has this great story about it, but they say the FTC is encouraging companies to adopt age verification. Oh, yeah. The reason they're doing all this, the reason they're saying, hey, actually, we're not going to enforce this privacy law that's meant to actually protect children's data. We're not going to really enforce that law anymore because we want to actually incentivize age verification, aka identity verification. And in order to identity verify everyone, we have to collect way, way, way more data. And that means invasive data harvesting. And that sort of invasive data harvesting would probably violate COPPA. So we're just not going to enforce COPPA anymore. Crazy. Okay, so the FTC actually announced it. Oh my God, where did it go? The FTC announced it on Twitter, of course. And I love the note. I love the community note. This is such a beautiful community note. It makes me happy. First, let me just finish explaining kind of what's going on. First of all, why is she quoting this up top? That's crazy. Actually, maybe this article is not good. Age verification technologies are some of the most child protective technologies to emerge in decades. What are you talking about? Oh, our statement incentivizes operators to use these innovative tools. Well, first of all, the framing of this article is crazy. It's like some say, well, there's actually fact and fiction. There's actually verifiable fact and fiction. And the people that are boosting age verification are verifiably telling falsehoods. And the people like the EFF are verifiably citing facts, which is that data leaks when you do identity verification. Anyway, so the EFF said age checking related data collection poses the very threats to COPPA, very threats that COPPA is designed to address. And we've already seen age estimation systems having issues with data breaches and leaks. David Green. I love David Green. I talked to him earlier this week. Icon at the EFF. He's a wonderful lawyer and very smart. Anyway, then they say last year, Discord disclosed that about 70,000 users may have had their government IDs exposed in a breach. This is just another sign that the FTC doesn't truly care about young people's privacy or speech rights. David Green, as always, you are 100% correct. And I think we should look at the actual tweet. So the FTC tweets, FTC issues COPPA policy statement to incentivize the use of age verification technologies to protect children online. Now, COPPA actually protects children's data, and they don't want COPPA to protect children's data. So instead, they're doing this nonsense. And they put out this policy saying they will not bring enforcement action under COPPA against certain websites that collect, use, and disclose personal information for the sole purpose of determining a user's age. Well, sure, that's the purpose. That's not how the data gets used. Anyway, so for once, I love when there's a good community note, okay? I love when there's a good community note. And this is a good one. So they basically said, this is very funny, whoever wrote it. Contrary to their claim, which by the way, how did this is why I'm like such a proponent of like independent journalism and crowdsourced media. Note that like, while the tech while the tech blog, and I like The Verge actually a lot, but like, you know, they basically they're basically both sidesing this thing that is very fact or fiction. And thankfully, Community Notes is like, cap, like this is a lie, right? And so I just think it's great. Like this is the value of things like Community Notes that you're not going to get when you read a news article. If you read a news article on this, you're probably going to come away with this like both sides framing, and there is no both sides on this. This is bad. This is bad, and this will lead to less data privacy. So let's go through why it's bad and why we don't want to erode COPPA protections, especially not to do age identity verification. So, okay. So contrary to their claim, using age verification, aka identity verification, has numerous issues, including but not limited to, it can be easily bypassed. So this is just like a bunch of examples that were given, but people find wild ways to get around these systems, okay? So people make these 3D models, especially with AI. They're increasingly just doing like AI systems to break identity verification or age verification systems, which means harvesting even more sensitive data. Because anybody can falsely scan a face or falsely scan an AI face, this is why any age verification is identity verification. It's identity verification because clearly you could just use an AI model to scan your face. I'm going to close this window. Well, I shall do it in a second. So they need to know your identity. They need to verify your identity. Anyway, so that's the first problem that they cite. Number 2, risk of security data breach. Yeah, hello. This is a huge problem, right? This is what we just saw happen with Discord. We just witnessed this happen with Discord, right? Once you harvest this data, it is not secure. The more sensitive data that you are harvesting, the more attractive that data is for a hacker, the more attractive your systems are for hackers, right? So it's bad. And then third, inaccuracies, placing adults into underage groups and vice versa. Now, this is happening all the time. So basically on like Roblox, if you don't verify your ID, you end up in child spaces. So if you don't verify your ID, they just default you to children. Does that sound like you're protecting children? Same with like Discord and stuff. Like it's like, okay, so if you don't verify your age on one of these gaming platforms, then you're made a default a child. So you're suddenly in children's spaces. Does that make children safe? No. And these systems are just so laughably bad. I mean, speaking of Roblox, like, I don't know if you guys know this guy who made Steal a Brain Rot. It's like a popular Roblox game that like children play. But you know, he is let's see how old he is. I think he's in his 20s. He's 29 years old. Okay, he's 29 years old. He's not a young man. Well, he is a young man. 29 is not old, okay? That's like I'm not trying to say a 29-year-old is. But I'm just saying, he's not exactly like, he's not a child, okay, guys? He's not a child. I mean, like, if you look at him, you can tell that he is an adult. Not, he's a young adult, but he's an adult. Anyway, so he tweeted, TikTok, I'm not underage. Please stop banning me for being underage. I'm not going to stream on TikTok anymore. This is getting ridiculous. And he has been basically deemed that he might be under 18. And I think what's so interesting is that this is what we're increasingly seeing is people like basically like it's based on their activities or like the things they're talking about. And I'm just curious, like maybe since he's talking a lot about Steal a Brain Rot or Roblox or memes or something, like they basically think he's old. Like they basically think he's a child. And I was reporting a story on Skibbity Toilet. I was writing about the IP battle. The Skibbity Toilet's actually like the center of this like massive, really messy IP battle that I'm going to cover on my channel at some point in the future. But anyway, I was on like Skibbity Toilet YouTube like so hard for like 2 weeks because I was reporting on this story. And I'm like, but this is like 2 years ago, so before all the age verification stuff. But you could see how something like that now, it would just register you as a child. It would be like, oh, your browsing history looks like a child. Now I'm determining you a child. Now you have to upload your government ID, whatever, whatever. And even I'm assuming he uploaded his ID. If you start to behave like a child, because this is another system that they have in place, is like, if you consume content like a child, or you behave like a child, or you trigger some AI system that thinks you're a child, it's just going to start treating you as a child. And that sucks, because there's a lot of stuff that's like not child related that, like, that they can sort of use that delineation to just block people from certain content or features on the internet. So all of this is bad. What the FTC doing is insane. This is very bad. This is very deranged. We don't want this. And the fact that they're willing to weaken an actual law protecting children, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule, it just shows that they don't actually care about protecting children. None of this is about protecting children. It's not. And it's just not. Does anyone have any questions about this, by the way? I barely recovered from Skibbity Toilet YouTube. I still get Skibbity Toilet stuff in my feed sometimes. And yeah, this community note is so funny. There was another version of it up earlier, but I just think it's so funny. They say, and many more. Sigh, I need a break. I feel you. Whoever wrote this is my friend. I like them. I also am tired. But it's just wild. It's wild that they're like, hey, we're just not going to enforce this like major child data privacy protection law online. We're just not going to enforce it. Like, we're just straight up not going to enforce it because we want to incentivize data collection. And all these people online are applauding it. Like, all these like right-wing groups, all these politicians, all these parents are like, yay, like the American Principles Project. We defend America's families. Okay, some MAGA right-wing Christian fascist group. The FTC just took concrete action to protect children online and uphold parental rights. Great work. What are you talking about? You're eroding privacy protections for children. You're allowing children to have their sensitive data harvested. And by the way, like, I was on the I've Had It podcast talking about this week. Like, oh my God. Do parents not realize how their children's data is going to be used against them? Like, a lot of these companies, especially like insurance companies, whatever, they want as much data as possible. If they can get data back to the time you were in the womb, they would buy that data. They literally do buy that data. Okay, they buy data. It's like they buy as much data on you as possible. That's the whole point. That's how these data brokers work. Go back and watch my series. I did a whole 3-part series last year on data brokers and the data broker industry. And I talk in those videos about the origins of the data broker industry, how these companies operate, what kind of data they're harvesting. And people, I don't know what the parents can't, like, the parents are like, I have to protect Johnny online, my little son online. So you think some like Peter Thiel-backed data harvesting conglomerate harvesting data on your children since the time that he's like 3 and wants to sign up to watch like YouTube Kids or something, Miss Rachel videos, like, you think that's going to be like good for your child? No, you idiot. That data is going to be used against them. That data is going to be used to charge your kid higher premiums on healthcare, to charge them more, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, that data is not going to be, your data is never used for good. That's what I want you guys to understand and everyone to understand. And it was the I've Had It news podcast. It's not the main feed one. It's like it was just me and Jen. It was like the news one. I don't know if it's out yet. We just recorded it yesterday. Maybe it's out. It should probably be out. But it's the news. It's I've Had It podcast news. Anyway, I love them. I love them both. I love Pumps. I love Jen. They're both so wonderful. And I complain about Gavin Newsom. But yeah, basically, like, this is like this idea that like, oh, they're gonna harvest data and give me deals. Oh, they're gonna harvest data and that's gonna be used to help me. Oh, that's so great. Guys, please wake up. This is not going to be good. And these parents, like, where is the movement from parents to actually protect kids? They don't want to do it. They really don't want to do it. They don't want to protect their kids. They want to, like, the FTC announcing this, the FTC saying we are not going to enforce the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And I know they give things a lot of really bad names. So, but I don't think that's the reason they're not supporting it. Because I'm skeptical. If someone's like the Children's Privacy Act, I'm like, probably doesn't do what it says. But this law, again, is from the 2000s. It's not perfect. I actually have a lot of criticisms of COPPA, and I'm at COPPA 2.0. There's like this whole thing. So COPPA, like, we can criticize COPPA, but it is undeniable that it provides a data privacy protections for children. And so we need this. We don't need this. We need people to stand up to this and actually get outraged.